Okay, I'm admitting people now.
Yeah. So if there's any problem on YouTube, you can tell me. I'm live
You started live streaming already?
Yes. There's one watching already.
Yes, I can see you. Yes.
Okay.
That looks like it's good.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think let me prepare.
So before you start, Henry, if you could just tell people what material will be used today, okay. So that we are clear. Okay, I think you are using silk, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. I need a piece of felt. I'll be right back.
And then also we need to finish today by 4:30 sharp. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of other things today to deal with. Sorry.
Okay, I will try my best.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're kind of happy. Okay, so 1 minute to wait. I think we got frozen.
We have almost 1 minute before we start.
Yeah, I think I'm watching. YouTube is delayed.
Do you hear my background noise? My window is open. I have some people outside. No, you don't hear background noise?
A little bit, but it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Can you?
Yeah, we could start. Right. So welcome everyone to the Brooklyn Public Library's session on Chinoiserie painting by Henry Lee. This is being live streamed on YouTube, and if you do not want to be visible, please turn off your video camera. If you do not want your name to be visible, you could change your name. Thank you very much. Here's Henry.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm going to show you the process of doing a Chinoiserie style Gongbi birds and flower painting. In Gongbi, our Chinoiserie painting, we always need an outlined template, as a design. You can develop this template on your own with references like photographs from real life sketch, anything. And you can, as a student, the best place to start is to learn by copy ancient masters and contemporary masters templates. Okay, so you learn how to compose your picture, to even the color or anything. So today we're going to use two references. One is a template provided by a master in Gongbi. His name is Wang. I think I forgot. Ziliang or something like that. And another painting reference, I cannot tell the signature, but I found in an interior design kind of site. So the color and the style is more in westernized Chinoiserie, contemporary Chinoiserie. So I will try to combine both today. So let's transfer this design. You can paint in front of it, or you can use any tracing tool like a tracing paper or light box, something like that. So I'm using a light box to transfer the design onto the silk. So I forgot to mention what material. Sorry. So we obviously use sized paper, which means non-absorbent. Non-absorbent. Size is a water-resistant material used in paper industry. For watercolor paper, they have kind of wax in the paper. It's hard size, and for Chinese rice paper, the size is applied after the raw paper on the top of the on both sides of the raw paper, the 40 size, or on one side, a semi size. So we use the 40 size non-absorbent rice paper if you want. So last week I used is like this, you know, it has a shimmer, mica surface is shining that indicates the size, the front side. You can use that, or you can use a hot press watercolor paper. I'm using the silk bagged paper bag silk. I call it silk paper. It has a metallic and the texture like a silk on the painting surface. It's a very common material used by modern Chinoiserie artists. So I will do a tracing, then I will mount it. But before I mount, I want to trace it. Otherwise, it will not be so translucent. So I mainly do this birds. The branches, it could be a little more free. So you just draw the outline of the birds if you want. Okay, so you can print out the second page of the handout and put it underneath the translucent rice paper and trace it. Just the two birds, that's most important, because we cannot paint freehandedly of this patternized feather or detail. This is actually not so complete. We still have a lot of room to fill in the blanks, but basically it will give you a good place to start. If you want, you can alter a little bit, like the shape of the tail. The male birds is in the front. I think the tail has a longer stem than the female, and the beak. Let me see. The claw is a very difficult part actually. It has bone in it, just to make sure it's don't paint it too meaty, So it has a claw like a nail, and I just draw a little bit shape. Maybe the branch it perches on. I will be more free to do this in later stage. So I'll just draw this the relationship between the claw and the bird, the bird and the branch. That's where I start. I have decoded the steps of doing the watercolor painting, and you can use that as a guide if you're doing it on other surface. You can, and the steps we'll show you later. So there's some dotted lines. They are not outline, but just a guide for you to separate the colors. Okay. Okay, that's about it. Okay, should I draw these flowers? It depends. You can, let me see. I try to do it without the outline. So I will not draw this, maybe a little bit, if you like, because the composition, I understand the composition is kind of difficult for many people. So if you want, you can consider a roughly like I did with the pencil on other pages of the handout. I just draw this kind of very loose sketch of the flowers, and I'll apply color directly or water resist for the petals, so I don't need to outline it. But it's a good idea maybe to draw some key. If you want to change the composition, you can put the flowers on the side. What I do is I move the branch, twist a little bit, so I can make the branch a little more vertical, or somehow reposition it. So feel free to do this kind of adjustment. Like, so I twisted the branch, then see, I have to consider where so this will go up. I think let me just do something like that. So the branch will go from a little bit higher, I would say, and consider this composition. So this branch is more vertical on this side. We'll just do this, okay? So something like that, more vertical. So let me just draw this quickly. The branch, more important for the structure. And I just draw some circle on to indicate the position of the petal. I mean the flowers. Okay, that's about it. Okay, don't draw too hard. It's a pencil, so I can maybe erase it. I don't mind to leave it, but someone some buyer may don't like it. Okay, so this is the brief. So the paper is 9 by 12, or the silk. So I have some room here. Let me see what we do. We can extend this like that. So we have another branch roughly on this side, and some. I try to avoid parallels, but I do like this very natural crossing of different branches in different lighting conditions. I will try to capture later. So there are some. You can borrow some part from the other reference. Okay. Can you see? Okay.
Henry?
Yeah.
There's a question. Should we avoid painting the bird in the middle, in the dead center of the?
That's a good question. We all tend to do that. Okay, any rule could be broken. That is a good point, a good reminder of the general rule. So if we violate it, we have to kind of break it somehow to yeah. I cannot change anything. I already put it there. I didn't think about the extra margin on my right, so maybe I can crop it later, but I'll just go ahead because this one it just show you the process of the painting, not this. Okay, this reference painting actually have the birds pretty much in the center, but the left bird it break that, so maybe we can move this bird a little up. That will change the dead center. Maybe if we still have a chance to do it. But let me see. Yeah, maybe. Okay, let me see if I can erase it. Yeah, that's one thing. Okay.
Henry, there's another question about what type of pencil are you using to sketch? Are you using a charcoal pencil?
No, just a regular pencil, but this is pretty...
Regular pencil.
Yeah, pretty. It's a 4B, so that's a little too dark. That's why, I have trouble to erase it. But that doesn't mean, HB could be easier to remove. So I just paint very gently. I mean, right, jaw. Yeah, so you can still see a little bit. Even you don't make a mistake or you want anything. You need to be able to remove it later. Right? So you want to keep it light, with gentle when you apply pencil marks. Okay. Okay, I'm going to redo this bird just to put. Oops. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let me see if I can. So this is a time you can play with composition before you do the actual painting. So I put the birds a little bit up here. So I draw this again. This bird is probably between the white eye and this bird, what's it called? Nitrix, right? Nitrix, red beard. It's a 相思鸟. Someone translate it as lovebirds, but lovebirds has a special species. It's like a parrot. It's another different species of birds. But the meaning of the Chinese name 相思 means love. Lovers, yeah. Okay, we can just use the reference, the Western artist painting as the reference for the second one. But I think that the tail, we don't have room to do, so I omit that tail. The female birds has a shorter tail, generally speaking. Anyway, so just Oops, I forgot the chest. Let's see if it's better. Thanks for the suggestion that help a potential problem with the composition. I think we want kind of avoid tangent also, you know, the point right cut or something. So try to make it a little bit softer, maybe somehow. We can avoid the conflict. I mean, the tail of this female bird is very short, so we may just omit that, hide it. Yeah. So that's about it. Okay. So the next thing is to prepare the white, preserve the white. If you're using a colored paper, like a colored silk like this, or antique color, you know, we can also paint the background with the color. Then we can just use gouache, use white to do the white flowers. I consider this more like the April blossom, not the pink cherry or plum. Okay, this piece is a little bit off-white, but generally it's called silver, white silver. So I think we can preserve it. I'll preserve some, and maybe we can use opaque to cover more. And since I'm not going to, if I need to trace, you know, I can still put the painting, I mean, template behind, and then just put the flowers like that. Or if you feel free, more free, you can do it free-handedly. So let me just do it freehand. I'm going to mount this on a backing paper with silicone, so it will stay flat. You can use a heavier paper. I got this just regular specialty mounting paper for scroll mounting, so it's a little bit thinner. And just do this. If not enough, I can mount another layer just to double it to make it more sturdy to paint on. So the first thing I'm going to do is to put a silicone on top of the backing paper that comes with a coarse side. That coarse side is where you put the silicone film on. So like this, just heat it. Okay. So just put the silicone on top of the backing paper. Activate the adhesive and let it cool just a little bit, and then peel it off from one corner like that. Oops. So you have a silicone film on the backing paper. Now I mount this the painting surface up, of course. So and if you use paper, you can do the same thing. You can also paint without mounting. You know, you do the mounting afterwards. But you need to stretch with tape. Okay, there's some noise here. Mute.
Okay, whatever. And you yeah.
Okay. So mount the painting silk on the backing now. This technique is I developed for this class. I think it works because the silk is so thin. If you paint on it, it will wobble. So if you're used to painting on smooth watercolor, you better mount it first. Okay. Okay, now we have the painting ready. I can use
Henry?
Yes.
We have a question.
Yeah.
If we are using gouache, is that applied before the background color is applied? And is the tree trunk painted also before the background color?
Look, read my instructions in the handout. I think I have all the answers there. I think if you use white for the flowers, you don't need that. You paint the flowers at last, after the background. Okay. For this one, I'm going to use the masking fluid. If I use gouache, yeah, I don't need to paint the white first. I will do the background first. We can do partially, gouache, partially masking fluid. The gouache, I think, could be painted. I mean, it's better to paint it on color, like a toned paper, not. The gouache loves toned paper. Okay, basically. Don't use if you use it as a resist, however, you can use the gouache as a resist. Maybe you can first, and then you wash the back of the painting. If the painting paper is thin, like the cicada wing paper, you can paint on the back side to show the gouache on the front. But with a thicker paper, maybe or silk, maybe not an option. But silk can also be done. The traditional silk without the backing, it could be done. Okay, again, we need to use a cheap brush for this. I think I have it on here somewhere. Yes, okay, there it is. And I will soak it first, and then put some hand soap, just to make it easier to remove the rubber. So let's see if I can get a piece of paper towel here. Okay. This dried pretty fast, I think. So we need to cup it. So the apple blossom has leaves. I don't worry about those leaves. You can paint after the background is done. So even use a little opaque if you need. It depends on how dark your background, the sky blue is. Let me see, where is it? Okay, this is the black and white copy of the color, but I can see the shape better even. So I'll just do. You can see how many petals there? 5, right there. But you can just draw this shape, just like you do freestyle painting. Just paint it like that. Don't have to block. Oh, I still want some kind of like calligraphy. So some calligraphy. It's kind of confusing for you maybe to copy from two references. You need to make your own composition and just borrow the just consider those pattern like just fractal pattern. The elements, you can put anywhere you want. So just 5 a group. A petal. You can do, and because the apple blossom comes more like a cherry blossom. It's more dense than the plum. So these parts are the white. I'll change some into flowers from buds to full bloom flowers. So I'll probably use a lot of masking fluid there. So I like this kind of shape, like the irregular triangle. Some flowers are in the back. That's a problem. If you have those, you have to avoid a negative pen. But I think maybe we just use gouache. I think if the flowers is in the back, we don't have to do it. Only the ones in front of the I can change some. In front of the branches need to have the preserve. The leaves are behind the flowers. The flowers, if they grow from the branch, first of all the leaves, and then buds and the flowers. Right? So we need to put the leaves behind later. Okay, here's a big area of sky. I want to save that. There are some flowers around the birds. I think I will. So 3 for 5 a group, there are some overlapping. They form a combined like a shape, and you can just do the flowers with overlapping. So the shape, the group shape, the block will come out naturally. Just do a block of that. Okay. So they're not. I don't think the other artists did any bud, so we just do all the flowers. That's okay, because this is a painting more about the atmosphere, not detail, not too much details. We can, you can certainly do the pollings or that, like a Gongbi artist would do, but I tried not to do too much details on each flower, but more on the overall lighting and color, the feel of spring, the apple blossom in sunshine. So just do the very white flowers, not everyone. Okay. So I have my inherited design here, so I need to change a little bit just based on the other painter template. Okay. It's more like a painting the pattern the two-dimensional wallpaper kind of thing. Okay, there's some flowers in this area. I need to preserve some, and this. Some side view, but mostly foreground. Some subtle ones. It will be interesting how to do those subtle ones. I was thinking that's those soft flowers that are really makes difference. I think make the painting looks not just like a pattern, more like a painting. But we need to maybe figure it out later how to do those. At this point, we just concentrate on the heart shape, the clear shape of those very white ones. There's some blurry ones. Don't worry about that. You can use gouache, just paint it. Okay. I think less is more. Although I have changed that phrase maximism. I just tend, this class is about maximism, not a simple simplicity. So we try to paint as full as possible, not but still you have a lot of room of breadth, right? So there's some leaves there. These are leaves. You can also use this for leaves, but I'll just maybe leave that. Okay. Any tip on how to clean this brush? I think I dry it with a paper towel and then wash it. I think maybe because I have soap and before I load but you can still see some the rubber. When you cool it, it will become rubber. And you can use a brush. Does that work for you guys? To brush it off. You cannot use finger to clean it. Just leave it. Okay, I'll let it dry a little bit. Oh, actually,
Henry?
yes.
The work area seems to be a little bit out of focus.
Okay, let me try. Better? Let me turn on the light. Oops. A little better?
I think it's because of the color is very light.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is not
I
color.
think later on it'll be better. Yeah. Basically, it's just to fill in the.
Yeah. The color it comes with the rubber, the masking fluid.
Right.
It sometimes it's yellow, but or pink or any other. It has a little bit of color to show you, not very visible. Okay, let me let it dry, and we can start to do the birds. Okay, let me see. Should I preserve any white on the birds? Let's think about it. maybe you know, if you paint around the birds, it's not very difficult at all, right? I think we can use gouache, so we probably yeah, we don't have to use masking fluid on the birds. I was thinking to do the white eye or something. I can use white paints, no problem. Right? So I was thinking to do the background. So even we invade a little bit into the feather area, we can do a light wash for the birds to get started with. Let me show you. I have some what is called the Lightrix. Red-bearded Lightrix or Chinoiserie behind me. That's a very colorful one. And I was also thinking the deep green colored birds as in a reference. I think I don't know exactly the birds there, but I think the eye is called the white eye. It's pretty cool. I like that. So you can I can. Let me see if I can bring a picture of that to show you. That bird is not local here in the North America, but in pretty popular in Asia. The Chinoiserie, I think. Very small birds, almost like a hummingbird size. The nest is very similar size. Let me show you. Okay, 相思雀 or this is 相思. This is 秀妍, yeah, 相思. Can you see it? Let's see. Here, yeah, this is a white eye with cherry blossom or apple blossom. I'm not sure. Can you see that the eye, right? Yeah, that's a small bird. And this is the Lightrix, and this is the white eye with a nest, very small. And okay, here's the flower with the white eye. So the white eye could be saved, I think. To start, if you lose it, you can use white paint. Okay, so basically they have a very deep kind of green back and a light gray belly, I think, and a yellow chest. Yeah, see this one. And we can borrow the color of the other bird. So we don't have to think just one. This back is a little bit bluer. I think I like that also. Well, like this one. Okay, so we can do a yellow wash to start with because it's backlit. We could have a yellow for all the birds, and then we go from there. Okay. The yellow is on. So I need to remove it. But the warm, probably we don't need much of that. Oh, that's for the chest, definitely the orange chest. Okay, that's the cut like a cardigan orange or cardigan Okay, I got some green viridian. Oh, that's for, maybe we can use that for the back with some brown. And I need a lemon. It's called. This is the kind of olive green kind of color. That's kind of like the black color. Lemon, kind of cool yellow. Okay. I use a combination brush. Okay, you just got a little bit ochre color. You can just use yellow ochre. Yeah. The for the belly, it's let me see, what's the color? My Photoshop. Okay. Okay, that's I can use that reference to do the. Okay, what's that? Okay, that white has a little bit ochre in it, so we just do the whole birds with that. Except the eye, you can. I just do an overall yellow wash. Don't have to stay within the boundary because this is a very creamy color. Just to start get rid of the white, and then except the eye maybe, and then wash the brush, and I'll change to the sky color. It has a deep what do you call this? I call swimming pool color again. So we have turquoise, okay, basically, and some viridian, maybe just mix yellow, yeah, to get a little bit green, maybe a little bit of that. That's pretty much. You can get a little bit green to start with, and then we can blue it. And some part maybe more ochre. Yeah. Oh, this rubber is pretty dry now, but that's okay. Now we can do. So just vary this color, this turquoise color, with some yellow and some ochre. Yeah, yellow ochre, or I don't see red in it, but you could have some pink somewhere, maybe near the sun above. So this is generally cooler and more bluish. So you can even add a little bit cobalt or yes, I just use cello with the turquoise, yeah, for the dark ones in this area. Should I avoid the trunk? Maybe not. We can just paint over it. If we like, you can do the brown branch first and let it dry, but maybe it's too late. I don't have time to wait. I just use opaque. Oh, drawing is pretty opaque, so we can just do the whole thing without worrying about any. This very thin layer of if in the final product we want like a 10, now we're using only like a 3 intensity, I think. So you want to accumulate different layers to get, and each layer could vary a little bit in hue. So some could be more green, some could be a little. Combined, it would produce a very better avoid that. So if we want hard, you have to negative paint. Just avoid. You can draw like the shape around the birds and then spread it freely to the rest. Just like that. Keep it light. So this is silk. Okay. The upper part has a yellow ochre. More yellow ochre, and maybe could be a little burnt sienna, maybe to make it even warmer. Okay. This area has more yellow ochre there. Let me just get some more fresh ones. Here we go. Yellow ochre. Some very natural colors. It's when you use it very thin, it dries like almost like just white. That's it. So you can. I don't worry about green sky in this painting. So you have a lot of leaves like that. So you can have little area with green, not just blue. Okay, and maybe we just use orange and let's see, a little bit more warmer here, and here on this corner a little warmer too, near the earth. Okay, so that echoes the sun above there. And normally we don't like the puddle, so I use not thirsty, they dampen the brush, but without much water. So I try to take out as a sponge, take out the puddle. But not the pants. So it's kind of hard, huh? Try to do it smoothly at the first press. Without puddle would be the idea. There's some granulation going on here, maybe with viridian or something that has a deposit. I don't mind. Just leave it. Okay. The back of the birds actually is green. Well, we just just paint all that. Yes. Just leave the leave the belly, and the inside is pretty dark, shady color, but it has some white lines, so we need to do it careful, more with a smaller brush. So I'll just leave it for now. You can do some warm color on the back of the bird. Some warm green there, a shiny color. Actually, that line don't have to be there with the pencil line. We should just disappear after we paint. So we don't have to honor the boundary of that. You can have some aura kind of blur into the background. That's fine. But since it's very thin, and you can leave it, let it dry, and if not enough, you can apply another layer to smooth it, to make it more finished. I think this bottom part could be even darker. With this ocean color, I will use phthalo and turquoise. A little more blue, maybe a little bit lemon. Oh, this is too yellow. As we mentioned earlier, you always want to try to judge how much green, how much yellow, how much blue, and how much red or brown in the color. If you can tell, then you can blend any color you like in real life. Okay. I want to some really heavy color here to show the white flowers. We need that. And gradually become lighter. It shows some area or atmospheric perspective. Oops! Actually, you can move the pen, remove the pens with still wet. If you keep doing this, this is what happens. And I see some purple colors, maybe some pink there. That's nice. I try to go with the impression of things like that. So I don't mind to put a little pink in the sky between the yellow and the red. There should be a little pink. Remember the rainbow theory? You don't want to paint yellow directly with the blue when you do the sky. So there's always a little bit pink buffer. Maybe cool pink will help to make the transition more natural. But if you blend all three, it will become gray. So be careful. try to keep the value consistent. Some part become too light. But if you have a lot of water, it will become blossom. That's another thing we want to avoid. Is other than puddle and granulation. Granulation may be welcomed, but puddle maybe not. Anyway. Just keep it light because you're painting the air, the color of the light. Okay. Let me give it a dry. Give it let it dry. Okay, I'm going to make the birds more finished. So I have this color. I don't know what's the name. It's like a golden green or something, and now I just a golden green. Yeah, it's a yellowish color, and then I add a little viridian, maybe make it greener. And you can add burnt sienna, maybe make it darker. And let me start middle, maybe the color, the local color, more of the local color. And then on the top, it's warmer shine color. So I will just add a little bit warm yellow, just to on top of that, maybe. And you can do the yellow maybe first. Okay, and then that face is a little bit dark, like in the shadow. We want a contrast, so it will show the white eye. Around the eye. Okay, can you see that? Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. You can use a clean brush to kind of pull the color to the edge, to soften the edge a little bit. Okay. Use a smaller brush maybe to do the details. Okay. Forget about all the texture, the details. Just do the base color, even wash. But you can have some variation in hue. I have a tendency to blend the color on the paper, so my brush is not pure. Sometimes it has multiple colors there. Okay, that's the wings, and then there's tail. It's a little bit shady. I add some purple, lavender. Not lavender, just purple. It's black, you know. I don't use black. Just add a little shade there. That's the tail. Okay. And the tail, the other side of the tail can squeeze out the little white tail, what do you call this? The under the tail, the white feather, or something like that. So we don't really see the tail is behind the front bird. Okay, so I will do this bird. It's a little different than the composition. So the white, the white belly is on top, more on top. This one is just dark. So I will just use maybe a little more blue. This is the male one, has more turquoise maybe. Just use turquoise, a lot of turquoise. That kind of anchor the painting. So the color I'm using is so you can look at the picture behind me on the little picture on the corner. Let me just bring this down a little bit. Can you see it here? Okay, so that color is more blue green. Yeah. Okay, and the shoulder is a little hard edged. It has white. Anyway, so I want to make that shoulder rounded with a good shape. And you can have some green, yellow green, yeah, tender green on the crown, but it's under the influence of the maybe morning sunshine. Yeah, it's more yellow, orange on that, and then the. Okay, do you know you can mix purple and orange, or the yellow, purple and yellow to get a good deep green color also. Okay, for the face, if you want more blue, you can get this yellow or ultramarine, that kind of dark. And it has a throat with a yellow, orange. So I leave that. A lot of color change. Difficult part of this is the color shift. Okay, we can have some yellow to start with. We also want the color to be kind of mixed color, not just pure color out of the tube. We can have some color on the wing here with yellow and orange. Yeah. Just to borrow that lovebirds, Chinese lovebirds. Okay. I'll try to combine the warm and the cool here a little bit. The Gongbi painting has a lot of details, but I don't have time to really paint Gongbi style. I try to have some pattern, but yeah, that's all. You can use tiny brush to do little, to draw those lines later, like hair. One by one. So let's finish the belly part. It has brown color, orange color to start with, maybe. The red chest. The lighting, I think it's backlit, so this shady part is more. I have a more orange, maybe, than the sample painting on top on the lower right. I'll just use the natural color of the silk for the white for now. Okay. Someone is making noise. Mute. Let me mute. Okay. The belly is generally okay. On that bird it's kind of green, but I want to have some white to blend in, with the flowers maybe. So let me see if we can save the white. Just and you can have some very a little bit kind of edge, like orange, to define the white. That's a little bit decorative approach, I think. Instead of using light ink, I just use the orange color to kind of outline it, but not really in a line, but it's maybe an aura of the light, the backlit light or somehow. Okay, the chest. Maybe I will just leave it white. I will see if we need to fill in more red or something. I will just leave it, I think. Look at the picture behind me. Oh, this bird has a red beak. Okay, so this part shouldn't be so red. We'll leave it for save it for the beak. The beak is the reddest part. And also there's a mark on the where the wing and the back meets, has a strong red marking, right? And if you will, you can use a little white to recover this part. Maybe I'm thinking well, without a gouache is better, more natural, I think. I'll see, and I'll do the beak now, just to. The beak is really red, really red beak. This one is C. Okay. Use this kind of olive color to fill in the. Let's see. It has a little bit color change because the light on top of the crown is a little bit lighter. I missed almost the white there. Okay, so for the black, I think we probably have to use black, and the highlight, there's a highlight in the pupil, maybe a very tiny one. If we can save that, we can see. It's dried up. I got the ink, so we just use. I think we have the gouache black. Let me use that. Yeah, we have the gouache black. Let me just use a little bit of this directly from the bottle, and I will wash the brush right away. I just put a little dots, little round dots there in the middle of the white. Maybe not exactly in the middle. This painting is quite small, so I probably don't have room for the highlight. Let's see. Just put the pupil there, and maybe I'll just use it for the cloud as well. I think I'll just paint directly without an outline, and then we'll put some texture. Very difficult to do the cloud. Right. Okay. And let's see. Just wash that off. And if we want, we can start to do details. You can use a small brush. You just use dark green. You can add phthalo to the with the maybe purple or brown to get a dark color to add some detail. The under part of the shoulder is a little darker. And you can use a split brush to do the feather texture if you want. But don't mess with it too much, like a Gongbi painting, throughout the birds. Maybe it's just a suggestion of that. So it just shows people that you can do that. If you need, if they like. You don't have to finish all the hair one by one like the but I can do just a few on the key, like the crown, and then some maybe back a little bit. Just suggest the texture of that. Dry brush with split. You can use a larger brush, split it, just like put it using the finger to split it, make it flat, and then do this. Instead of using a tiny little brush to draw it one by one, that's another option you can also do. Oh, I forgot the tail, right? The tail, okay, we need to start with green. It has some warm on the edge, so just orange color on the edge. It's a reflective light, maybe, on this edge. Yeah. And then it's dark, pretty dark. Green, blue, very similar to the color on the top, not too much different. Right, just it's you can recover the white line if you want to use white. You just use a dry brush to lift it. You can also lift it with on hot press paper. You can easily do that. All right. Let me do the branches. That'll be the fun part. I think we start with the warm color, then we use cool color. So that's Barcelona, or and other colors on this on this bronze side. All the bronze I got here to use. And you can also mix your own brown with purple, with red or yellow, something like that, and try to get a dark brown to start with the main branch. And remember, the direction of the movement is from right to left, right? So the branch change from thick to light. Okay. This area. You can just paint it, just cross the beak, because this is not going to cover that. Okay, if you want warmer, you can add orange color. Okay. I just charge it with a different hue later. Okay, there's some branch going up there. It's too thin. We want to have the paint a little thicker than the sky. Okay, and I'll do the main ones first to divide the negative shape of the space, because I have the masking fluid, so I can paint right across the flowers. If you have the absorbent paper, you can do it on the thin paper. You can do it on the back side. I vary the color according to my reference. There's some light kind of on the branch here, so we can add some more orange color to the brush, to the color we're using, and some more black. We can darken it later. So here's another one. Is I'll just use some green here. The branch has a little green. So I'm mute someone. Okay, here's a branch that goes behind, but I want to show you what I read. You know, the where the branch is out, the lost and found branches. You see this branch goes to here, going out, but the root is here. So that kind of movement is important. Although it's behind the flowers, you need to indicate them. You can lift it, or you can use gouache to cover it later in the front. But what's behind is this under the structure of it, the framework. Okay. And let me see. Okay, here we have a diagonal line there. Oops, my brush split too much. And this is thinner, you know, actually. It's farther from the viewer. Okay, some branches going out, in and out. That's important. You can have some branches like that, and some going to the outside. Okay, and here's a dark one. It's vertical, and they you can use some black here. Huh? I use neutral tint. So this is the diagonal line. Actually, it's probably yeah, it's going here, going down, 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 something like that, and going behind. Okay. Okay, some tiny branches on the right side. Oops, too yellow. I should use my calligraphy brush. I think it's more pointed. The general one's calligraphy brush. That's what I'm using. WAG 1. Okay. Okay, some diagonal branches behind the birds here. Oops, it's too dark. I vary the section of each curve or arch. And some leaves, some suggestion of branches there. There's parallel here, so just change that. Crossing branches, very traditional in the Four Gentlemen painting, right? Let me zoom out a little bit. Those areas should be dense with a lot of crossing branches in the center area.
So Henry, we have 30 minutes left.
Okay. Thanks for reminding me. Let me see what
Today we had to finish at 4:30.
Okay.
I mean, our time in 30 minutes, okay?
Okay, so without doing any leaves, I'm going to lift the flowers, the covering of those white flowers, and then we'll see if we have time to do the leaves. Here we have preserved the white flowers. Okay, let's just lift it. Oops, the branches are not dry, so be careful not to blur it. Let me just do this first. Where it dries, you have to wait the paints to dry to lift it. See, I got blurred branches here. That's okay. We need that. Let me try it first. Okay, I suppose the branches are dry now. So this is on the silk. The silk is pretty strong surface for this masking technique. It's not possible in traditional Gongbi painting on paper. Maybe my colleagues in China, after they see this, they will use it. They will get the watercolor masking fluid and start to using this. I haven't seen anybody doing that. Oops. And this is special rubber is pretty handy too. You can use a fingertip. See, this is a handy tool to remove the rubber easily. Okay, I'm going to do the leaves and the details. The leaves, we can have some white gouache and just mix together like this pale blue and yeah, turquoise is easy to get that pale green color. And for backlit, you can start with this color and then add some dark in the center of it. It will look like a backlit. And the shape of this should be a little bit sharp, pointed. The function of this actually I'm doing is to further define the flowers also. So I put some dark against the white to show the flower. You can redefine these shapes a little bit. There you can actually squeeze out more flowers with this color. You can negative paint, just leave the shape, the petals. These are green leaves that comes with the flowers in the early spring on apple blossom, apple tree. It's pretty green. I have some white in it, so you can cover the branches also. Okay. And so we won't have time to do the critique, I guess. Let me just finish this painting, at least on time. You can spend more time at home and put on social network or the online class for critique or help if you need. Okay. The flowers, I mean the leaves around the flowers. Just to soften some of the edges also. And we need a lot of definition, more definition in the foreground. Right? So just vary a little bit. You can put a little dark in the middle of those little leaves. It will show the translucency in backlit light. Okay, let me show you another thing that we can do to use white directly to add more white flowers if we missed any in the first place. We can still do that now. Let's say we can add some flowers behind the branches, and then you can also add in front of the branch if you want. So you can use a little bit of color, so they're not pure snow white. You can add a little ochre color to it. That's probably better. And just paint those petals with this light ochre white in the center area. Maybe center area could be darkened with green, a dark green, and then the pollen and the stamen could be done with a darker ochre color, I think. So it will make the flower more natural, not just so I just fill in this petals with some warm white to blend it. I don't want to make it this yellow flower, though. It's white flower, so keep it light, all right? But not just the snow white. You can have now let me add a little green in the center, so you can use some deep green color just to dot the center area, and then you can use a sponge brush to soften it if you need it. I won't have time to do all that. I'll just combine different colors to show you the finish. Okay. I just dotted the center with a deep green color, so it will make the petals more pop. Shady center. A little bit. And then you can use a small brush. If you want really decorative, you can go with a tiny little brush with let's do with some yellow, maybe brown. I think for the poly, let's do a green color. I think just stay with green, so it will be cool. Just do the a little bit, a hint of a stamen. You don't have to do like the flower painting. I just put like a star somehow, indicate different directions. A little bit very light. Could be just a little darker than the petal. Just a little texture showing the details, suggest details in the center of the flower has something. Okay, we have 15 minutes. Oh, if you want, you can use some this color to do the calyx. It has a little stem. The apple blossom has a little stem, but not as long as the cherry. Right? But you can still indicate that some stem for the leaf, for the flowers or something. A little line to show the cluster of things. You can use this to draw some shadow in the leaf also, if you want to have some definition, some more definition or depth. This should be in the center of the light stroke. If you look at the handout, you see how they combine to create the backlit sensation of spring sunshine, the kind of so only the details maybe in the foreground maybe. I think we don't need to do the howling because that would be too much detail for this painting. So I just try to let the color speak for me instead of the linear language like outlines, dots, that kind of. So I'm using the Western concept of color and the light more, with some decorative approach for petals. So we do need to have some patience for this kind of painting, right? And especially the planning, the arrangement of things beforehand is more important. So when you paint, you just have fun. I think that's about it. I'm gonna sign. Let me show you the whole picture and zoom out. Okay. This paper is the backing paper is not for this kind of paint. Is for scroll, So we can use heavier paper to avoid this kind of curving if you really want. Lost in the font. Oh, I can accent a little bit more on the branches. Some dark. We have dark here, right? We need to have the light. I just realized that. Something like that. So, and maybe one side is more shady than the other. You can add some texture on the shady part, like horizontal strokes, and even some bar, some knots or things like a hole or something, or mustards, just to make it the texture more natural. And for the birds, you can add, if you have time, you can add all the details like the little texture on the paws. You can use little white to dot those little joints. Just a suggestion of that. Okay. And, let's see if there's any light we need to capture. Some shady part. This yeah, it could be a cast shadow there. This cast shadow could have this just in the shadow. Shady part. the chest could be white or brown, because I have white on this one, so maybe we just oops, I got dark. I just add a little highlight on the here, just a little white. And you can use a tiny little brush. Maybe you can do it. Just do the circle. Oops, it's too big, my brush. Okay, that's about it. 10 minutes left, right? Okay. And we can add a little bit more leaf in the center of those light stroke. Just a little darker leaves, shadow maybe. Okay, I'm gonna sign it. Maybe hide it here. Or use maybe red. Okay, just on the corner. I think the head is a little bit too small here. Maybe just combine with the neck a little bit more. There's some adjustments you can do later after you finish. You can hang it on the wall, and the painting will tell you what will demand more modifications or fine tuning. Okay, and one last thing is the hole in the nose, the black dot. You can use just dark brown or something, or purple. Not too dark, just that there. And a little hair in front of the sticking out a little bit. that's it. I think I want to fuzz with it, and you can put a yellow brown kind of dots as a polling if you want, but maybe that's too fussy. We'll just add maybe just this much. Yeah, just a little bit in the near the birds, maybe a little bit. Just a suggestion that if people are looking for that, you just tell them, oh, I know it's there. But don't do it all over, just a little bit suggestion of detail. And in Chinese painting, we usually circle the center with a little, like a half circle or full circle if it's a front view for the center. That's the traditional way of doing it. But this one, I'll just skip that maybe. Okay, that's all. Any comments and questions? We have 5 minutes. This is, I think it's a little bit too blue. Let me just add a little brown to it. You can just add the texture.
Henry, somebody's asking you what paint you are using.
Oh, I use the same paint as before.
The core?
Yeah.
That's the core, the watercolor.
Yeah, the core watercolor paints.
QOR.
Yeah. It's
Someone else was asking about the bird. What's the bird?
Oh, the birds. Let me spell it. It's a combination of white eye, I think, but the color is more of this Leiotrix, Leiotrix, Lightrix, right? Can you spell it for me? Leiotrix, Lightrix. The birds on this page. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? If not, I'll let me see, there's a question there. Oh, 擦白花的橡皮. This is a special eraser. I don't know the name. It's designed to remove the rubber, what is this liquid, the masking fluid remover. So if I find the name next time, I'll let you know. Okay, I don't have it in mind. It's a kind of eraser, but not a common eraser. It's for removing the masking fluid.
Henry,
Oh,
I have a question. I
yeah.
have a question about the background. I noticed on this you did not wet the background before you started.
Oh.
Is that because you used the silk?
You can wet it if you want to know brushes. I don't mind my brushes or stains.
Okay.
That's part of the beauty, I think. So I don't. If you want really smooth background wash, you can dampen the paper and then wetted the paper to. You can blot it actually to give room before you wash it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Good question. Yeah, I like the graduation, the brush strokes. It shows some energy. I like. Okay. Okay. Any other? Oh, someone just gave us the name. It's a rubber cement eraser, right? Rubber cement eraser. That's the name, right? Thank you. Okay, I type in here. Yeah, that's the name of this. I never know this. I must learn from some other instructors from other class I took. So that's what they commonly use for this purpose, and maybe other usage. I don't know. Okay, so that's it for today. I will see you next time on painting butterflies with peony, tree peony. Looking forward to see our work. Maybe we can show our work in the beginning of next session, but today we cannot do it. Thank you for attending this series on Chinoiserie style Gongbi painting.
Thank you, Henry. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
Thank you.